Great. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mission Zero and the Star Trek Adventures role-playing campaign, Star Trek Kairos. A few disclaimers, though, before we get started. To begin, the characters in this campaign are from the 29th century. It's 2875 to be exact. That's around 500 years from the end of the last TNG movie, Star Trek Nemesis. With the glimpses we've gotten in Star Trek lore of the 29th century, we know that time travel is fairly mundane technology for them. I've taken a lot of liberty here to imagine what other technology in 2875 might be like. I've also invited the players here to think of characters that would be wildly different from what is common in other eras. That will most likely make this campaign very different from other games you would have seen in Star Trek or the Star Trek universe, but hopefully it'll be fun. And finally, in this campaign, we will be dealing with time travel concepts heavily. Now, time travel is very hard to write and very hard to pull off, so I am sure that I will be making lots of mistakes. And the science mentioned in our episodes should first be weighed against the rule of cool before the rule of accuracy. So on to the players. So you guys have been training for the last few years together at the Temporal Integrity Commission facility on Mars. But the time has come for the final test you've all been looking forward to, or perhaps dreading. That is your first time jump, the first time that you will use a temporal transporter and move back in time. This is a very big deal. You guys have all just stepped into the transport tube on Mars, and the coordinates are set for Bajor. So you would expect to instantly be transported to Bajor, at least as far as you can perceive. I'm saying the way the transport tubes work is it's like a transporter that will transport you across star systems. So for everyone else, this would normally take a few minutes, but you've stepped on and you would expect to step outside into the sunny streets of Bajor, many, many sectors away. However, you guys materialize in a very cramped shuttle. And you realize right away, especially you, Neutral, that this is a very old shuttle, especially by 29th century standards. So it's actually Neutral, since I called you out. Why don't you tell us a little about who Lieutenant Commander Arya Neutral is?
Well, she is an Orion from the 23rd century, but not the 23rd century everybody remembers. Hers was vastly different. Is an officer in the Orion Confederacy, which is basically her version of the Federation. She is a whiz with pretty much anything mechanical. Very good at temporal in her time at the TIC.
Very good, very good. As you guys have materialized on the shuttle, immediately in front of you, you can tell is the pilot of the shuttle. He is a taller, slightly overweight Bolian. He's got a huge smile on his face. And as soon as you guys have materialized, he looks over and he looks actually very, very nervous. He's wearing a standard issue jumpsuit that it's actually not very well kept. He's got a few stains on it and he's got the sleeves rolled up. And he turns to you all. He steps out of his chair. He goes, "Hi, how you guys doing? I'm Lieutenant Zephyr, but folks call me Chuckles because, frankly, I'm so funny." And he looks around. "Oh, how's everybody doing? Everyone have your fingers and toes?"
Yeah.
Seems like it.
Last I checked.
All right, that's good. That's good. That's the most stressful part of getting you guys out here is intercepting that transport tube. Which, when you see where we're going, you're gonna see that's really saying something.
Oh, okay.
And he looks around. Oh, who's in charge here? I didn't really get a manifest.
That would be me. And I guess since this is my turn to talk about my character, Anastase is definitely different from your standard Starfleet fare in the fact that she is a Dorney. Now, if you don't follow any of my other games, the Dorney are basically a species from the Andromeda Galaxy. They are kind of like jellyfish in the way that they can quite literally live forever, and the way they accomplish this is through extremely advanced medical technology that includes a unique biosuit for every single Dorney that exists. I don't know how much we'll get into that for this first session, but, you know, all you really need to know is that she's been with Starfleet for quite over 2 or 3 centuries at this point, and is leading up what is known as Team 3 on the Kairos. So yeah, I introduce myself and I say, I am Commander Anastase. Mr. Chuckles, was it?
Yep, Lieutenant Zephyr. They call me Chuckles because I'm so funny.
Right. I might have to diagnose you later if you think that's funny to begin with, but I digress. What is our ETA to the Forge?
We are en route. This place we're going, it's a little unique, and well, you'll see when we get there. The normal way of getting there is I like to set up the drama, so it's quite a surprise. We can't get there your typical way, and actually, in fact, he hits a few buttons on his console, and there's a slight shake as the shuttle goes to warp, which is a little unusual for most of you guys because in the 29th century, the main form of propulsion is not your typical matter-antimatter warp drive anymore. It's using quantum technology, a quantum drive as I'm calling it, which is much faster and much more efficient. So for you guys to be traveling at warp, that's really weird. That's much slower than you should be traveling to get somewhere. That's what you're doing.
Mitral is smiling.
Yeah, but Chuckles, he turns to Mornock and he says, "Hey, I like you. You're blue, just like me. That's my favorite color."
I'm blue at the moment. I
So
can be
Mornock,
pretty much any color I like.
why don't you tell us a little about Mornock?
Mornock is a changeling raised on Benzite. He studied artistic and creative studies there and was involved in developing some temporal technologies. He's quite scientifically minded and he's here to help.
Very, very good. And he turns to Mr. Brad, who's the last one. You are you human?
I would be Betazoid.
Sorry, the eyes didn't give it away. Well, yeah, welcome to the shuttle. What's your job in this team of unusual but sophisticated individuals?
I get to blow up stuff.
That sounds fun. They always told me that I talked a little too much, especially in the academy. Just let me know if I ramble on too much. I had an instructor who told me that if I didn't learn to close my mouth, I'd be flying a shuttle in a out of the way station somewhere as punishment. Oh yeah. Lieutenant Commander Neutral, yeah. Yeah, so we're going to keep on going to our location. We should have a dramatic view here in just a moment. And with that, we transition to the shuttle moving at warp. And actually, I think this is a good time, Commander Anastase, for you to give us your log, please.
Very well. Commander Anastase's personal log, stardate 552247.94. Well, it's time. Quite literally, in fact. My team and I are currently en route to the Forge, where we will experience our first time jump. Due to the secret nature of this R&D facility, we must first transport to a shuttle, which will then take us the rest of the way. I've already been introduced to one Mr. Chuckles. He is an interesting character. I probably know that this is going to be a thing, but I digress. The reason for this secret nature is to obscure the Forge's location. I find it a reasonable precaution given the state of the temporal Cold War. As for the time jump itself, it should be a rather simple affair. Team 3 will engage in a capture the flag style objective while making sure none of our members are susceptible to temporal narcosis. I do not foresee any major issues. Well, aside from the fact that I'll have to workshop better names for the team than Team 3. And an encrypt log.
And with that, the shuttle has arrived at its destination. There's another bump as you guys come out of warp, and Chuckles is kind of setting a few things on his navigational panel. The shuttle is actually kind of shaking a bit.
Mr. Chuckles, is this normal?
Oh, Commander, this is normal. And in fact, and he hits a few buttons, let me show you where we're headed.
Yeah.
So at the view screen in the front of the shuttle, what you guys see is a substantially massive black hole. And you can see the bright glow of the accretion disk as it is consuming ambient matter. And close, and by dangerously close, is a modestly sized Federation research facility. And Chuckles says, she's really something, huh? Well, we call her Monument. Sounds ominous, huh? Well, we're not really sure why we call her Monument. It's a perfect place for testing temporal equipment, though, really. It's being so close to the black hole. I've been told this whole system is full of tachyons and chronotons and gravitons and all the other trons you've ever heard of.
Must require a significant amount of energy to not fall into the black hole. Interesting.
Yeah, we've kind of worked out the kinks about keeping the station in a location where she doesn't get sucked in, although we have to make continual adjustments. Piloting it's pretty intense. If you've noticed, and he points to his navigational console, which is like basically a soup. You kind of have to fly by feel when you're in here.
I just look at the black hole, at him, back at the black hole, then back to him. And I give an audible sigh and says, very well, just please, I would rather not be in a black hole today, Mr. Chuckles.
Oh, don't worry, Commander. And all those alarms you're hearing, don't worry, perfectly normal. And the trial, I don't know if that's concerning you or not, but this shuttle is buzzing with many alarms.
Yeah, the only one that is truly bothering me is the gravimetric pressure gauge, and it's probably redlining right now.
Yeah, and this shuttle is equipped with a warp core. You can see very close to where you're sitting. One of the panels, maybe within eyesight, Neutral is the warp core on this shuttle is running pretty heavy, and that's mostly to keep you guys from being pulled into the black hole. He might have actually understated how very intense and very strong the field of gravity is around this black hole.
Yeah, I kind of look at where the commander's sitting and say, we might want to move a little further into the shuttle. Not that it'll matter much, but he is redlining this thing like you wouldn't believe.
Well, as you may or may not know, Miss Neutral, one of my species, her name was ironically Andromeda. She survived contact with the Great Galactic Barrier, so I'm pretty confident that even if Mr. Chuckles flew us into the black hole, at least I would survive. Then there's a deadpan silence, and Anastasia almost chuckles to herself and says, that was a joke.
Yeah.
It
No
was so funny, I forgot how to laugh.
but you may want to work on your comedy a little bit. Maybe away from a black hole in a shuttle.
I have been told that perhaps one of my first missions will be going back in time to find where I lost my sense of humor.
That's a little better. And she actually chuckles at that.
And there's a very heavy bump as you guys are drawing closer to the station, and chuckles. He looks a little panicked for a moment, and he goes, "Oh no, we're okay, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. Oh, it's all right, it's all right. Just a few adjustments. We're coming into dock. No problem. I've handled this before."
I'd like to insight him just a little bit. Like, is he, panicking or, otherwise cause for alarm?
Yeah, you could do a command insight. We'll do difficulty 0.
All right.
I could
I'll give you
also
guys the moment.
do it because I am a telepath. I would be here feeling it.
Sure, I will give you. I'll give you an emotion if you just want to do a passive scan on his emotional state. He's a little nervous, Mr. Brott. It's not necessarily nervous about what he's doing. He might be a little nervous that you guys are in the shuttle, though.
Cool.
Not going quite as smoothly as he's used to.
All right. You said it was difficulty 1, yeah?
0. This is all
So we
momentum
get a
roll.
momentum.
And yeah, Anastasia, the reading you get from him is that, yeah, he might be glossing over some facts a little bit here, but he does seem competent. Like, as he's working, as you guys, as the shuttle is rocking, he's managing to stabilize and keep you on course. And you could always ask me another question for that momentum if you want, or you can keep it.
No, as long as he's not sweating bullets and he's not actually freaking out, I'm content to just sit back and relax.
And looking at the view screen, you can tell you are getting closer to the station, which at the same time means you're getting closer to the black hole, but it seems to be more of a controlled path and not a spiraling or a spiral into destruction, as it were. And with that, you guys kind of pull into the station. It doesn't have a hangar. There's just more of a docking port, and he pulls the shuttle in. A small tractor beam engages and pulls him the rest of the way to the end. There's another shock as a docking collar meets the outside of the shuttle, a hiss as the pressure is equalized, and he hits a few buttons, and the door, at least to the shuttle, opens to reveal like a small passageway leading into the facility.
Well, Mr. Chuckles, thank you for the ride, but I believe this is our stop. Everyone, if you could please file out before Mr. Chuckles tries to make another attempt at comedy.
Commander, you may not know this yet, but I'll be seeing you again in just a moment.
Alright, well, scratch that part about the joke then.
But I believe the doctor on the station would like to talk to you first. They've got some things to explain and some loose ends to tie up, but then I think the next course for you guys will be back on the shuttle with your super pleasant taxi driver.
Great. And yeah, Anastasia, assuming she's being followed, just kind of gets up, heads out the door into the rest of the station.
She is, in fact, followed by the lieutenant commander.
I'll follow behind.
I'll bring up the rear.
Okay.
Look at us going by rank.
I don't exactly have you guys in order, but you guys file into the landing bay of the station, and there are 2 individuals who are waiting for you. First is a Zindi female. She's a reptilian. She's wearing a long white lab coat. She's carrying a pad that she kind of keeps referring back to. Actually, she's kind of looking at the pad, not even really looking at you guys as you walk into the docking bay. And next to her is an individual who couldn't be more different. He is obviously a human male. He's wearing heavy Starfleet armor, actually, kind of combat armor. And the armor that he's got has the Temporal Commission's logo on the shoulder, and his collar says a senior chief is his rank. He's also carrying a Phaser 3 on a sling, which, Mr. Brott, you might notice with your tactical training. He seems, you just get the feeling he probably knows how to handle this weapon. And he's not like, he doesn't have it pointed at you or even his hand on it, but just the way he's carrying himself with it, it's probably a companion almost. He's very used to using it. He also has a nasty discolored scar on his right cheek. And Commander Anastasia, let's roll a medicine insight for you, difficulty 1, to see if you could get a clue about what this might be.
Don't suppose I could get anything involving, say, xenobiology, or... I guess it would just be xenobiology.
Let me open your focuses, because I think you have one that does apply here. I'll say emergency medicine.
Okay, cool. Wow. So yeah, that's 3 momentum. Very nice.
Okay. So the information I'm going to give you right away, of course, always, you could spend momentum if you have more questions, but this scar on his face is from what is called a time disaster. And what that is when you're traveling through time, if something goes wrong in the temporal shield that's protecting you from the effects of time travel, what can happen is parts of your body can actually travel through time at different rates. So, or even actually age at different rates. So what probably happened to this guy is he's probably traveled through time before, and some part of his face was either behind or ahead of the rest of his face traveling through time, and it's left a very nasty scar.
All right. The medic in me is, of course, curious and wants to know things, but I think for now, Commander Anastase is simply going to remain quiet and let the doctor and the chief speak.
Well, the chief gives the doctor a moment, and then he notices that she's not really paying attention. So he kind of looks up and down the rank of you guys, and he steps over towards you, Commander. Welcome to the Forge. I'm Saturday, Chief of Security. This here is Dr. Solara, Head of Research. And Solara takes a moment. She's, hello. Welcome to the Forge. My name is Dr. Solara. It's a pleasure to have you here. And you notice as her eyes comes up from her pad, she's actually not even looking at your faces. She's looking at what you guys are wearing. And in fact, this is a great time to talk about what you're wearing. You guys are all wearing a special suit that has been designed specifically for traveling through time to give you all sorts of gadgets and things when you are in a place not in the 29th century. Calling it the Mark II temporal suit. Describing what it looks like, it probably looks like more of a skin-tight sort of polyester, really, and it's colored based off of department colors, but it can do a lot of things. It actually has a lot of tricks, which we'll get into later. But she's looking at what you're wearing necessarily, and she walks over and she's like, "Oh, fabulous! The Mark II armor. I had never got a chance to see it in the field, so this is just so great that you're here."
Well, Doctor, we were told that you had some information for us.
Oh yes, the whole reason you're here, the exercise, that's true, the training exercise. It's a delight to see temporal agents with the technology that we're developing here. And actually, which one of you is the shapeshifter?
That would be myself.
Oh, excellent. Do you think we have time to go to the lab? I would love to make some adjustments to your suit to handle your particular needs.
Only if the commander feels it's necessary and it won't affect our mission.
I would say, Mr. Mornock, you are to use your own discretion on that matter. I would rather not have to deal with a changeling that is half-aged.
Okay, let's get this suit assessed.
And the doctor turns to Saturday and she goes, "Oh, that's all right, right? We have time to show them the lab before they leave. There's no concern with the time frame, is there?" "No, doctor. Do whatever you want. The shuttle has to be refueled anyway." And he almost rolls his eyes when he says that to her.
I like Chief Saturday. He's a good guy. I like it.
And Solara kind of motions you along. As she's pulling you along, Mornock, she's still kind of like pulling at your suit. She doesn't really meet your eyes as she's like looking at her pad and then looking back at your suit and sort of not really poking it, but she seems to be very interested in like how it fits you and things like that.
It fits quite well because I adjust my body to fit the suit.
All right, so is everyone going to go with Solara as she's heading towards into the side of the station towards her lab?
I think I do want to hang back to say something to Saturday, but I will, of course, tell everyone that, follow the doctor, use your own discretion kind of a thing.
Okay. Master Chief, you want to go? It's walking this way.
Sure.
And real quick, Josh, I am seeing the token name for Mornock, but the rest of us don't have nameplates.
Yeah, I think your tokens just don't have them on, but we can change that.
Yeah, just so, makes it a little bit easier on the viewership.
Yeah, for all of us to remember names, especially as we start off.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to hide everyone else, and I think it's just Saturday and Anastasia who are left in the docking bay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, once we're sort of alone, I kind of come up to him and I look him up and down. Mr. Saturday, was it? And I extend my hand in a stereotypical human gesture of greeting. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. If I read the situation correctly, both you and, I look back at the shuttle, Mr. Chuckles, will be seeing a lot of each other. Is that correct?
The next part of your mission, you'll be taking the shuttle. If that's your question.
I was more curious if I will be seeing you in the future on whatever ship they station us on.
You know, Commander, the first edict in temporal travel, or not the first, perhaps it's the third, is no future travel is possible. You're not allowed to travel to the future. Now, as far as what our future timelines hold, well, I can't really speak to that.
Fair. One further question before I catch up with the others, Mr. Saturday. If you don't mind, and I very cautiously kind of point at his cheek, should we be concerned about that happening to us on our mission?
Huh. You mean, are you going to be concerned that the TIC is going to send you on a mission where you lose your friends and your body gets deformed? Should you be concerned about that? Is that what you mean?
I meant no offense, Mr. Saturday. I was simply curious from a medical perspective.
From the medical perspective, interesting.
Well, kind of sensing that he's an interesting sort, I just sort of nod and say, well, thank you, Mr. Saturday. I believe I will catch up with the others. And yeah, I do.
And you notice he's watching you as you walk away. And he looks up to his armor. He's got sort of a built-in personal display on the wrist of his left arm.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of types in a few things as you're leaving.
Not ominous at all.
All right, but the lab that Dr. Solara takes you guys to is kind of what you would expect from a top-of-the-line Federation research lab. There are all sorts of projects going on, all sorts of advanced equipment. They have a holographic display kind of here in the back. Looks like they're sort of mapping Monument, the black hole, or at least trying to. They're charting. They have an advanced sort of three-dimensional display of different bands in the black hole or different gravitational fields and stuff that they're working on. There's also on a mannequin a different suit. It's very different from the one you guys are wearing. And Dr. Solara, as soon as she walks in, she kind of hurries over to it first and almost pets it lovingly. And then she goes back to you, Mornock, and she drags you sort of over to a station that she's got. And she plugs in her pad into a cable that plugs into your suit. And she's just making all sorts of adjustments. But she doesn't really introduce you guys or show you anything. She just goes right to work.
I'm going to start just pacing around looking at the stuff.
Oh yeah, Nitral's at like a kid in a candy store.
There's a lot of stuff here. So, Brock, what you're seeing is it's obviously weaponry that you have never encountered before. It looks very sophisticated. That obviously they're working on. There are some scientists that are taking, it looks like it's going to be a rifle when they're finished with it. They've got some stuff they're working on. Nitral is, as far as, they're kind of working the full gambit here. So it's anything like shielding or anything for the suits, propulsion, everything you could imagine that somebody might be experimenting on. That's what they're doing. And you can tell from your expertise that it's got a lot to do with the black hole, especially. Like they're monitoring the effects of the black hole and all the stuff they have.
Huh. Neat.
A few seconds will pass, and then Anastasia, you catch up to the rest of the group in the lab.
Alrighty. I just sort of look around, and my first port of call is going to be checking out that suit.
So Lara and Mornock are close to it, and as you approach, the doctor does catch notice of you, Anastasia, and she goes, "Oh, look, it's. Can you admire new work? It's going to be the Mark III when we're finished. It's going to be quite amazing. We're still working out the kinks. It's not quite there yet. It's not ready for production, but I think it's going to be amazing."
I sort of take a look at it, and it's kind of hard to tell when Anastasia smiles on account of the whole helmet thing, but you can at least hear it in her voice, and she says, "Oh, I see that finally we're incorporating Dorney designs into this thing. It only took 3 iterations for it to happen."
Well, honestly, Commander, most of our work has been lately on defense. Most of the temporal agents that seem to be going back in the past are returning in a less than healthy state. So most of our focus has been on more shielding, energy weapon shielding, more integration with the suit's transporter, that sort of thing.
Understandable. Though I seem to recall submitting quite a number of reports, but I'm getting into the weeds. Don't mind me. I'll just be observing.
And Mornock, she hits a few buttons, and the suit that you're wearing kind of ripples a little bit. And she says, now, good, Lieutenant, you should be able to, the suit should be able to adapt to most of your shape-shifting to a degree. Now, of course, if you shape-shifted to something not humanoid, then the suit, of course, cannot go with you. But most radical changes to your physiology, if you remain humanoid, should be adapted by the suit.
Shall we give it a test?
Oh, of course, I would love to see it.
So I'm going to have to burn 2 momentum to change forms, aren't I?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Not in this.
Okay. Okay, control con. Just see how bad I do. And that was a difficulty 0, I believe.
Yeah,
so you convincingly can turn into whatever you'd like. And you shapeshift into a human male who perhaps could have been promoted to captain too soon, and a timeline that would make no sense. But yeah, you look like a humanoid now, and not like the original Benzite that you started from.
Yep.
The troll laughs because he looks like Lieutenant Kirk.
Solara says, "Oh, that's quite remarkable. I hope you did not feel any discomfort. Did you? Did the suit constrict your shape-shifting abilities?"
Don't believe so.
Very good, very good. And she looks at you. Again, she's not really looking directly at you. She's looking more at your suit. And and have you had a chance to use the replicator functionality on the Mark II? Have you been able to replicate any weapons or other items you might need?
I as yet haven't needed to replicate anything.
And the shield generator, how do you feel about the battery life?
I've tweaked the shield generator slightly myself. I think it should last sufficiently.
Excellent, excellent. And if you've taken any phaser blasts while the shield generator was on, it's been told that it causes some scarring or discomfort. I would appreciate any information about that as you receive it.
Yep, I will pass on any details as needed.
I mean, Doctor, we could test it out now if you'd really like to.
Well, a live test? Would one of you mind getting shot?
Mr. Bratt, I believe you have some grievances against Mr. Mornock. You may fire at will.
Gladly.
Oh, how delightful. Yeah, if you want to fire your phaser, so tell me, are you going to fire the suit's phaser, or are you going to fire like a phaser 2 or something else you have?
Let's do the suit's phaser.
Okay, and Mornock, I will give you this for free. You could activate the suit's shield generator, or you could just stand there and take a shot. It's up to you.
I'll activate the shield generator.
Okay, so you naturally have a resistance of 1 with the suit. That's all of you guys when you're just wearing it. With the shield generator activated, it acts sort of like the shield generator in the core rulebook. What happens is you hit an interface on your arm. You guys still don't have those temporal implants. We'll cover that in the next session. So you have an interface that you actually have to use, like a button on the wrist of your suit. You hit a button, and there's a force field visible just briefly, just a few seconds around you that immediately disappears. And then there's a hum as the shield is active. But with it active, you'll have 4 additional resistance, which puts your resistance to 5. So,
And,
Mr. Bratt, go ahead.
While they're rolling that, it appears that the momentum deck is not infinite, so I can't draw any more cards.
Okay, let me change that. But Mr. Bratt, if you could roll me a control security, difficulty 2.
Let's burn a momentum for a 3rd die. Why not?
All right. Nice. Yeah, we're capped. We're capped. In fact, I believe that means you have 2 bonus momentum that will go away at the end of this task.
So you could use that bonus momentum to pierce any of his resistance, or to shoot another target if you felt so inclined to be murderous today.
Let's do some piercing.
Nice.
And then if you can roll the challenge dice for me for damage. I'm assuming this is non-lethal, right? I don't need to take any threat or...
Oh yeah, no, we're not killing anybody. I'm just getting enjoyment out of shooting someone. Is it 2 plus my security?
That is correct.
No.
So 3, and how much did you want to spend on any kind of penetration?
I'll spend 1 of the floating on penetration. I use the other one to re-roll the 3 zeros.
Nice.
Wow, he's really going for it.
Yeah, the dice aren't in his favor, though, unfortunately. Also, I would like to point out it's been 30 minutes. We're already shooting each other. This is going to be great.
This is going the right direction, yeah. So let's see. He had 4 resistance from the shield. He had 1 resistance from his suit, which would stop 5. Did you say you were giving me a penetration?
Yeah, we got rid of 2 resistance with 1 of the floating momentum.
So that would be 3 left, and then you did 4. So you do actually take 1 stress damage, Mornock.
Okay, and I'm gonna whip out aim with my arm.
I also need you to roll a challenge dice, please, Mornock. Okay, the shield stays up. It holds. If you would have rolled an effect, the shield generator actually would have lost power. Something to consider as you guys are using this.
And I'm gonna whip out at him with my arm.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna attack back. This is no longer a demonstration. This is now a scuffle.
Yep.
Well, Anastasia is about to say something, and then she realizes that this is actually a good test of the suit because, correct me if I'm wrong, Mornock, but this is like a changeling whip out. It's not like, you running up to him.
I'll put it in public for you. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, cool.
You normally have to be in close range for that.
So yeah, I'd move up.
Okay, so you're going to move and go at him. All right, go for it. If you guys can do the opposing security daring rolls. This may not go well for Mornock because I think Brat's actually very good at this.
Right, and not to worry, if I see it getting out of control, Anastasia will step in. But for the moment, she's about as curious as I suspect the doctor is.
Would survival count as a focus?
I don't think so.
Darn.
Okay. I'm going to use my determination.
Oh dear God!
My own greatness with 2 successes.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's 3.
That's 3 for Mornock.
Okay. Wow.
The troll has her nose bridge pinched and is just sighing heavily.
I'll take a momentum for a 3rd die.
Okay.
This is digressing quickly. All right.
Yeah, this is great. So I
tied him,
believe
but
tie
not the-
goes to the attacker.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Mornock, you can roll some damage for me. So it says you can choose intense, knockdown, or vicious one.
I'm just going to go... I'll go with intense.
I'm assuming you added non-lethal and not lethal to this attack, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. He is technically... Well, actually, he's not your superior, I was going to say. But yeah, attacking a Starfleet officer, injuring them, would have repercussions.
No, this is a Team 3 bonding exercise. We've done this before.
It's only 1 damage.
Yeah, which doesn't even get past his resistance.
Yeah, your suit absorbs it all. So, yeah, so, Bri, I guess as you're standing there, Mornock makes an impressive display. He shapeshifts like a club or something on the end of his hand. He hits you, and it just kind of tickles. Doesn't really hurt.
And Anastase actually does audibly clap so that everyone hears her and says, "Very good. I see that the suits are also configured to deal with a, shall we say, a impulse impact. However, Mr. Mornock, I will point at whatever arm you shapeshifted. I'm curious, did his suit shift with him, or did it rip? How did it interact with his, changeling / liquid whip thing?"
So that's what actually Solara was making the adjustments for him, and the suit went along perfectly with his shape changes. His arm got longer, the suit adjusted too.
All right. Well, then I say, seems you've done a good job there, Doctor.
I thank you. I just got a page, and she looks at her pad. Chief Saturday says the shuttle is fueled and ready for the next part of your journey, which brings me back to yes, the exercise. She makes like a swiping motion from her pad, and it goes into the storage system on your suits, which you can use to retrieve data. It's just, you may check the details when you're back on the shuttle about your next mission, but the transmitter you're going to be hunting, and she fishes into her lab coat and she pulls out, it's like a hockey puck size thing that just has a blinky light on the top. The transmitter you're going to be hunting is this. We will be hiding it somewhere in the lab. Just remember that when you come back, you will be trying to find it. Oh, and one last thing. I would recommend you not use the matter transporter on your suits while you are this close to Monument. The tachyons in the system could really be a problem with the matter converter, and you may not materialize with all of your parts.
Noted.
Just something to be aware of.
Very well. Unless anyone has any question, let's get back to the shuttle Team 3. Though I will say that we will probably need to brace for more of Chuckles' humor.
Lovely.
I'm more worried about the ride, but yeah, Chuckles is kind of painful.
And as you're getting ready to leave, Solara says, "Oh, and please, I've been told that a temporal transport this close to Monument can be difficult for some people. If you experience any medical or emotional or psychological distress, please let me know when you return. It would be very useful to have that data."
We will keep you apprised, Doctor.
Excellent.
And yeah, Anastase, again, assuming people are following her, heads back to the shuttle.
And as you guys walk back, you walk through the docking bay. Saturday is no longer there, and on the shuttle is Mr. Chuckles. And he's looking around. He's like, "All right, everybody, ready to take the next part of the journey?"
About as ready as I think we're going to be, Mr. Chuckles.
Excellent. All right, well, let's get this show underway. And he hits a few buttons, and the door closes. There's another hiss and a pop as the docking collar pulls away from the shuttle, and you kind of pull away. You can look out the view screen of the shuttle as he starts to turn. And exits the forge, but he actually aims the shuttle along the accretion disk of the black hole a little bit towards the event horizon. Yes. All right. So the way this is going to work is that we are traveling to the L3 spot or so, right on the edge of the event horizon. Because Monument is a supermassive, the closer we get to the event horizon, the more we will encounter time dilation effects. So for every 10 minutes or so we spend at the L3 point, the rest of the galaxy will experience about 5 hours. Relativity is pretty neat, huh? This lets us bypass the temporal edict about not traveling to the future because technically it's just the present that's traveling faster for everyone else. Not actually teleporting anywhere. And the temporal transporter on this shuttle does not have much power, but by exploiting the time dilation, we're also technically only transporting you guys back about 10 minutes. It just happens to turn into 5 hours back on the forge. Oh, yes, I always forget this part. When you get back to the forge, your mission will be really simple. Just get that transmitter that Dr. Solara showed you without being seen. Pretty easy, huh?
I have a question for you, Mr. Chuckles.
Of course, Commander. What can I do for you?
When you say without being seen, do you mean that we are authorized to, shall we say, disable or otherwise incapacitate anyone that we might encounter to, quote-unquote, preserve the timeline?
Of course, whatever you've got to do. I've heard things can get a little shaky down there. The non-essential personnel are going to do whatever they're going to do, and Mr. Saturday and his people are going to be walking around just acting like they're looking for you, and I think your job is just to get there and steal that little hockey puck that Doctor has.
I knew there was a reason Mr. Saturday was carrying that Type 3. Very well, thank you, Mr. Chuckles.
Yeah, he's not the friendliest guy, if I could be so bold, Commander.
I did get that impression.
And as you look outside, the black hole is getting very close. And Chuckles actually reaches over to the seat next to him. He's like, I hope you don't mind. I have been in the shuttle all day. I've not had a chance to eat. He's actually eating a burrito. He's like, I'm just telling you, excuse me, as we get closer, I'm just going to work on it. Actually, Mr. Mornock, would you look under your seat? I've got some Andorian hot sauce that just goes great with this, if you wouldn't mind.
Mr. Chuckles, for the sake of my sanity, please do not eat and fly at the same time.
Yes, Commander. I will put my lunch. I'll put it aside. Sorry, just very hungry.
As ironic as it is for me to say this, Mr. Chuckles, there is a time to be eating.
Nice pun. I like that. Commander. And there's a few more bumps as you guys are getting close to the black hole. Actually, outside the viewport of the shuttle, all you see at this point is black hole, and it feels like you're just getting dangerously close to Monument. And it says the whine of the shuttle picks up another octave as obviously, Natral, you can tell the engines of the shuttle are being taxed to the maximum of their capabilities here. Mm-hmm. And but really, Chuckles is just not really worried at all. He just continues to fly you guys forward.
Yeah. She is the most like she is shaking subtly. Shakes because she's like, oh god, we're gonna blow up.
Mornock, as you put the hot sauce on the console, Chuckles kind of looks at you and gives you like a little salute, like a, you get me, buddy.
Yep.
And he makes a few more adjustments, and he kind of turns around in his seat and he says, all right, we are about to the point where you guys are going to transport back to the station. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you know where the puck is hidden?
Yeah, it's back on the station.
I meant more precisely where it's hidden.
Oh, I see where you're going, buddy. I like you. But no, I think it's in the lab, but that's the best hint I can give you.
Okay.
I have a slightly silly question for you, Mr. Chuckles.
No, I am single, if that was your question.
No, that was not... I'm just curious, why a burrito? I mean, you're flying next to a black hole this size, and a burrito? Really?
Well, the thing I like about the burrito is it contains all the meat and ingredients together in one compact package, and, you know, as scary and terrifying as this looks, this is something I do every day. I'm not so worried about it. And then, you know, if I do make a mistake, chances are I probably won't even feel it.
That's comforting.
Yeah, completely comforting. All right, Team 3. Unless anyone has any further burrito-related questions, let's get this show on the road.
Chicken or beef?
Oh, that's a great question, Chief Broad. For me, it's I really like both. Not in the same burrito. That's a heinous mistake a person can make. You know, I'll go either way though.
Yeah. Before we hit the transporter, our Natral does a quick scan of her eyes to make sure they're working the way they should be.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Commander Natral's eyes?
Yes. When she was placed in the future, so to speak, it caused her to go blind. Placed her eyes with cybernetic eyes, and she now has a tricorder in her head.
So what I will say, Natral, is you've already gotten this information, but you can just confirm it through the visual stuff you're picking up with your enhanced eyesight, and that is this whole area. I mean, you're flying towards a black hole, so this is not really surprising. There's gravitons, tachyons, chronotons, just off the top of the charts coming off of this thing. Your eyes are probably distorting a little bit from all this activity.
Well, at least they're working.
And Checkles is making a few more adjustments on the show. And he goes, "Oh, let's rock and roll, guys! But one more bit before I send you brave folks punching through space and time. Bear with me. So the process of using the temporal transporter carries with it a certain amount of risk. The Temporal Integrity Commission would like to remind the volunteers that it is in no way responsible for any bodily harm or mishaps that might occur from traveling through the time stream. Volunteers agree to hold the TIC and its designated transport operator, yours truly, harmless and inculpable in the event of bodily harm, dismemberment, or consequent erasure from the timeline. Please state that you agree to these terms and are of sound mind and judgment, please."
I'm sorry, could you go over the side effects real quick? I feel like there was something about itchy, watery eyes, perhaps a rash. And then I pause. That was another joke. I'll admit that was not one of my better ones.
Very funny, Commander. Unfortunately, I have to hear all of you state that you agree to the terms and are of sound mind and judgment.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
What's one more timeline going out of commission?
What's the worst that can happen?
Really, Commander? You're gonna jinx us.
I mean, you know me. We've been training together for years. You know I do this.
Yes. Yes, I do. I agree as well.
All right, sounds great. I can transport you all from there. That's all we need. I've been told that sometimes it helps when you hit the ground to roll. If that makes any sense to you when you get there, that's the only advice I have for you. I've never done this myself. But let's get this going. He hits a few buttons, and he does the whole transporter, knob swipe. You guys hear the transporter spinning up. It's a little bit more noisy than you expected, and as you begin to materialize, the last thing you hear from Chuckles as you're departing the shuttle was, "Huh, that's odd."
Not something I want to hear.
And yeah.
So transporting through time is different for everyone. The way it happens for most people is just like a normal transporter. You're standing somewhere, and then the transport happens, and you're no longer there. You're in a different place. And for all of you, that is pretty much what happens, except for Lieutenant Commander Natral. You have a little bit of a different experience.
Of course I do.
You materialize here. And the room you're in, it's darkly lit, obviously. There's this tall portal-looking thing that stretches over you, and you've just materialized in the middle of it. And standing to the side of you at two computer consoles are two individuals. One is a darker skin. He looks humanoid, or he looks like a human. And then off to the other side is another humanoid who's wearing heavy, heavy armor, where you can only see a part of his face. And as you materialize, they both come out of what they were doing, and they look at you. And they're a little stunned to see you here.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
And I'd say at about this time, Natral, you notice that your body's a little translucent. You're not like, you can actually see through like your arm to the floor.
Oh, this was bound to happen someday.
And this guy in the corner, he turns to you and he's like, look, the uniform, look who she's with. And the guy in the green here grabs a nasty looking rifle of some sort. And he points it right at you. And he's taking steps like he's coming towards you.
Now, hey, let's not fight. I'm unarmed.
And the guy wearing the lab coat over here in the corner, he says, look, she's in temporal transition. Wait a minute. Look at her resonance signature. That's impossible. We never thought anyone else was shielded. And Natral, you're slowly fading further. You're becoming less and less transparent as you're standing there.
Well, looks like my time's almost about up, gentlemen. And what did you mean about shielded? When I fade out.
And the guy in the corner is like, "Well, tell me, how did you?" And then you finish materializing back on the station.
Huh. Well, she just kind of has a smug look when she lands, like,
So Anastasia does the typical Terminator landing, the 3-point hero landing, as it were. Takes a look around and says, "Was everyone all right? Everybody here of the right mind? Anybody experience anything that I should be made aware of?"
I'm slightly hungry, Commander.
Well, if all goes well, you can steal the burrito from Mr. Chuckles later.
Natral just kind of says, after this, maybe I have something we need to talk about. He replicates her version of a Type 2 phaser.
Okay.
Alright, so now that a jet is done buzzing my house, so where have we ended up on the station?
You guys are kind of down from where the docking port was, where the shuttle dropped you off before. This is sort of a central corridor, if you will. It's sort of on the way to the lab, but you could also continue down further the corridor and like down another corridor, and that would actually take you to other parts of the station. This is sort of like on the outside of it, I guess.
Second question, was that a scene change?
It was.
Alright, so we do lose a momentum.
And just for everybody's visual, her Type 2 looks like a phase pistol.
Alright. So, first order of business, I think, is Anastasia says, "Alright, everyone, let's make sure that we're when we're supposed to be. If we could verify that across the board, and then let's see what we can do about sneaking our way into the lab."
Mr. Mornock, if you'd like to do that confirmation, let's say that's a science reason for you, please.
Science reason. Okay.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty 0. Yep, you're where you're supposed to be. And in fact, while Chuckles may have many faults, he's kind of gotten here within 10 minutes of where he was supposed to teleport you. So he is actually very precise with that transporter.
Okay. Can we do it? Can I just try a scan, see if there's anyone in the vicinity other than the four of us?
You got one momentum off of that last scan. You can do a new one, or you can just spend that momentum and I can answer that question for you.
Up to you guys.
I think it's worth it.
Okay, you actually don't detect any life signs in the general area.
Okay. Commander, we appear to be on our own at the moment. I don't detect anyone within the immediate vicinity.
Interesting. What is our quote-unquote quickest and most direct route to the lab?
Can I pull that up?
As far as the location, I would say that you guys have this information on your suits already. It's sort of a direct path. You would go up the stairs here, you would go and turn around and just kind of go down the corridor, and there you'd be.
This seem a bit too easy for you guys?
Very tactically, we should not take the straight shot.
Indeed, if we are indeed against Chief Saturday, the 5 minutes I talked to the gentleman strikes me as a man who covers all bases. Mr. Mornock, if you were to take, say, Jeffrey's tubes and perhaps conduits, do you believe you could make it to the lab in perhaps liquid or gaseous form?
I can certainly try.
If
we get through some narrow spaces.
Yeah, I do turn to Brott, and I say, Mr. Brott, what would be the, shall we say, the most circuitous route to the lab? One that we all could possibly follow behind Mornock if needed.
Let me pull up a schematic of the station, and I will be able to tell you.
So the most direct route would be, or like I was saying, up the stairs and then down the corridor and taking a left, and that would get you guys there, fairly behind. I think if Mornock takes the ventilation, he will get there pretty much directly. You guys have to go up and around and do sort of a zigzag, whereas he can just go straight over. He will definitely be there first. But the layout of the station is fairly simple.
So, having Mornock take the ventilation, he'll get there first, and then the direct route will be shortly behind him.
And I can reconnaissance it, make sure there's no one waiting in there for us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do that. We will lag behind a few minutes so that Mornock has time to scout ahead, but let's get the ball rolling.
How are you in low light in this case? Go down that hallway. He could just be leading us into an ambush. At least we have. Some of us have, and maybe get to jump on them.
Yeah, let me describe the scene a little bit too. What you guys see in the backdrop here is sort of the way it really is. It's not very well lit to begin with. Most of the light's actually coming from Monument, or from the stuff being sucked into Monument, rather. And then the red lighting that's in this area, in this hallway. But it's actually pretty dark already. You could still take out the red lighting and make it even darker if you wanted.
Real quick, it's Natral that's our engineer, yeah?
Correct.
Okay. Miss Natral, see if you can tap into one of the station's computer banks and see if we can't do a little, shall we say, creative scanning from the station itself. I believe that console over there might provide some assistance.
Let me help in case there are any security parameters.
A reasonable precaution, Mr. Brott.
And while they're doing this, Mornock, are you going to go ahead and go through the ventilation?
Yeah. Do you want to do a roll to transform again?
Yeah, I think, Natral, you were starting to say something first.
Oh, No, never mind. I could use the assist from Brat. Never mind.
I assume liquid form would just be a challenge 0, no momentum.
So let's do this. It's a challenge 0 for you if you want to leave your suit behind. It's a challenge 1 if you want to keep your suit. Or it's a difficulty of 1 if you want to keep your suit with you.
As we haven't got the implants, I assume my suit is the communicator, isn't it?
Yep, your suit has a built-in communicator. It's got the shielding, the replicator, weapons, all that.
I'm going to try and take it with me.
Okay. So let's say the difficulty is 1. I'm going to spend some threat and make it a 2.
Okay. If it's okay, everyone, I'm going to burn a momentum for an extra dice.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Hey, we get that momentum right back. Actually, we get 2 back.
Yep, you easily pull it off, Mornock. You've sort of changed into a liquid. And I'll say as you've moved into a liquid, you're sort of dragging your suit behind you like one of the liquid tendril.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it could actually fit around you in this state, but you're dragging it down the Jeffries tube. Or the ventilation. We call it ventilation.
Yeah.
All right, and as off he goes.
I will head off towards the lab and reconnaissance it and communicate back if I see anything in there.
Okay, and I think the Troll, you and Brat were going to work on a console, you said?
Yep.
Okay, so Natrol, that's going to be an engineering control for you.
Okie dokie.
Let's make that a difficulty 3. And then Mr. Brat, you can assist with a security daring. And I think what you're probably doing is trying to help bypass any security.
Yes,
So
and I have an infiltration focus.
Yep, that will apply. I'm going to spend some threat and make this a difficulty 4.
I have computers as a focus.
Yep, that fits.
Threat for 4 dice. And yeah. I will re-roll one of those zeros.
Sorry, did you say threat for 4 dice or momentum for 4 dice?
Threat.
Okay.
Damn. We didn't make it.
You guys could spend determination here.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, sorry, how much threat were you guys going to give me? Because you had 5 momentum.
Well, I think he has bold engineering, so in order for that to work, he's got to take threat. So he gave you 3 threat.
Okay,
And we have 4 successes. Because I spent my determination to re-roll.
Okay. So yeah, after a second passes Natrol, you do manage to get access to the station. And give me one command that you would like to initialize first.
Yeah. I'm going to, in one of the lower labs, actually in 2 or 3 of the lower labs, I want to set off silent alarms. Going to, in some of the ones in the lower levels.
Okay, as you're getting ready to do this, you notice that there's really no reason to set off the silent alarms because they're actually already going. And at the same time, I'll say, Mornock, as you're moving down the ventilation, you feel the air get very, very warm. It's actually getting a little too warm. And at the same time, Mr. Brat, if you could give me, let's do a command insight, please, difficulty 2.
I'd say take at least 1 momentum for this.
Yes. Would any of my focuses apply? Starfleet Protocol, Hand Phaser, Survival, Composure?
I'll let composure apply.
Ooh.
Yeah, when Natral notices what she notices, she just kind of looks up at the commander with wide eyes, like part of the exercise.
I'm gonna move Mornock over here to reflect he's in the ventilation. So, Brought, you have this feeling that you are being watched. And as you look up to the ceiling, you see like a visual distortion for just a second, and then you don't see it anymore.
Commander, I'm getting the feeling we're being watched.
Well, it wouldn't be much of a test if they weren't watching us. They're probably going to point out everything that we've done wrong, which is understandable. More to the point, Mr. Mornock, is he in any danger?
Mr. Mornock, have you communicated back to the team anything that's going on around you?
I don't believe as yet I've checked anything other than it's getting a bit warm, so I will probably point out the temperature seems to be rising in here.
And I'm going to float this as an idea. Could we spend 2 momentum to create the advantage that we might be able to discern the silent alarms where they're located?
Sure. The alarms. The alarms are being caused by the fire that's in the main lab. The lab which Mornock is very close to. The heat is detecting is from the major fire that's in the lab.
Oh, joy. What do you guys do?
So, as this information is fed to me, I say, I'm sorry, you said there's a fire? And that's to Natral and Brought.
Yes, Commander. I don't think this is part of the exercise.
No, I think at this point either they're trying to ramp up the challenge or something very odd has happened. Mr. Mornock, can you get a visual?
Have I reached it to see what's in there yet?
Yeah, you would have reached, I'd say, the grating to the ventilation to the lab, and you're starting to peer in. But let's go back to the rest of you, because as you make that statement, Anastasia, about how things aren't the way they should be, that visual distortion that you saw on the ceiling Brought becomes apparent as it takes the shape of a humanoid on the ceiling. I would say from the training that you guys have, you recognize immediately this form. This is a Suliban. He's decloaked, so he had cloaked his body, and he's wearing an outfit too that was cloaked with him. He's clinging to the ceiling. He's actually got his body facing the ceiling, but his head is rotated 180 degrees down, looking at you. It's very sick that he has the ability to do this, but he also, most notably, has in his other hand a phaser, or disruptor, which he has rotated around in his arm in a crazy angle, pointed directly at you, Anastasia, and he's going to take a shot at you. And the moment that he does that, you notice Brought from the other side, another Suliban decloaks, and he's taking cover behind one of the chairs above you guys, or one of the benches at the area above you, and he also decloaks. So at this point, we're going to go into some structured combat here. Unfortunately, because I think you guys were not prepared for this, I'm going to give the first turn to the Suliban.
Fair.
Specifically the Suliban that's pointed at you, Anastasia. He's going to take a shot.
All right. Nice.
Oh, and he misses.
Wow.
He
Nice.
misses terribly. I will say with the 2 complications that he's got, perhaps he misjudges his ability to crawl across the ceiling and shoot at you, and he very ungracefully falls off the ceiling and lands on the ground. And I'm actually going to make him skip his next turn because it's not a very graceful landing.
Nice. So, from a lore perspective, are the Suliban something that has been employed by the TIC at this point? Or is this fair for me to assume that we actually have a crisis on our hands?
So the Suliban are typically used as mercenaries, at least in this situation. Even back when the Temporal Cold War was at its height, around 200-ish years ago, the Suliban were still used in that way. They're part of a cabal that are trading their employment, I guess, for implants and augmentations to their body, and that's typically how they've been used. They're not, like, the Suliban as a whole are not malicious. Like, if you see a Suliban, you can't automatically assume they're bad. These guys, of course, because they're shooting at you, and if they have that augmentation, they've probably made a deal with somebody in order to get it, and you could pretty much assume they're a mercenary until you find out more information.
Okay. Then my first order is for everyone to get into cover and for Mr. Brat to fire at will. And I would say that Brat would probably go first.
Probably.
Okay.
How well did that Suluban that fell off the ceiling land? Like, is he behind cover, or can I just have a point blank shoot?
You know, with 2 complications, I think it's fair to say he did not fall behind cover. He fell kind of out in the open.
I'm gonna aim and fire.
Okay. Are you firing with a phaser 3 or is it phaser 2?
The phaser 2 that's built into the suit.
Okay. And remember, if you are aiming, you can reroll 1d20 in that roll.
I will take my minor to aim, and I'm going to spend a momentum for a third die. And I'm going to reroll that 0.
That is 2 more successes than you needed. You do hit him point blank.
Maybe spend a momentum to reroll those 0s.
Yeah, I'm going to spend a momentum to reroll those 3.
So that's
Okay.
6. You shoot him. You do notice that as you hit his the suit that he's wearing, it does absorb a little bit of the energy. So he's not quite as impacted as you were expecting. If he were not wearing that, perhaps he probably would have gone down easier. But he's recovering from his fall, and he does kind of shake off the phaser blast, and he's continuing to collect himself.
Sir, they have armor of some sort.
Ramp up the firepower then.
Noted.
Do you
And
guys
this
want
is
to
a
give the turn?
thought. Do we want to spend the... Well, let me ask this. Does anyone have quick to action?
Nope.
No, unfortunately.
Okay. In that case, perhaps what Anastasia would like to do, and tell me if I could do this, Josh. I would like to run up the stairs, I suppose, and sort of get to, like, there, and do a melee attack against the Suluban.
You can do that if you give me the momentum for keeping the initiative.
All right. So that everybody else is on the same page, my goal is to not only maybe knock this guy out, but to also use him as a, well, Suluban shield, if you will. But it would be our last momentum, so I don't want to, like, you know, strong arm our way into losing it all.
No, go ahead.
Go for it.
Go for it? Alrighty. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm assuming that is a standard daring security on my part.
It is indeed.
Alright, I'm going to activate my augmented ability daring, which means I automatically get 1 success. However, my complication range has increased by 2.
And I'm spending 3 threat to buy 2 extra dice.
Okay. Alright, and I do have hand-to-hand combat on this, so let's see what happens. Alright, so you got 3 successes. Ooh, not good for me. Let's see. I am going to spend my determination. The determination value is going to be first one in, last one out. And I'm going to re-roll that complication.
Okay, because I have 3 successes currently.
Nope, so unfortunately, I get a whole lot of nothing.
He does knock you down. However, he's only going to do 2 damage to you, which I think your suit's probably going to absorb most of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like, you know, he doesn't do really any damage to me whatsoever.
He is not a very impressive Suluban, apparently. They, whoever hired him did not get the value for their money.
Well, I tried.
I think at this point, I'm going to tell you what's going on, Mornock, on your side. As you're peering through the ventilation, you're seeing the main lab where you were in before, and it's not completely on fire, but there are several fires in it. It looks like it's been heavily vandalized, and you see a few bodies on the floor.
Do I recognize any of the bodies?
Yeah, one is very obviously a Sinkethi reptilian.
Zindi Reptilian?
Zindi.
Oh, sorry, yes, Zindi. Not Zinkethi. Zindi.
I was about to say the Zenkethi branched out. Good for them.
It's the 29th century.
I was going to say 500 years. They're already different.
I'm gonna drop down in there and check for life signs.
Yeah, Warnock, when you drop through the ventilation, this place is a mess. So the computers have been, all the nice displays, most of them have been busted. There's like holes and stuff in the glass. A lot of the displays are turned over. The nice holographic imaging has all been ruined, or at least been turned off. There are bodies of several scientists on the ground. And you do see Dr. Solar. She is laying on her side off in the corner. And there are several fires like in the corners and stuff. And also some burning substances like on a few of the walls and things. And actually, it's like some of the computer terminals have been completely destroyed.
Okay, I assume there's no life signs on the on Dr. Solara.
Give me a medicine. Let's do medicine insight.
Oh boy.
Difficulty 1.
Wow.
Hey, you nailed it. She's dead, and you could spend. She's very dead, but you could spend momentum if you'd like to know more about what got her here.
Yeah, I want to know what killed her.
Well, the thing that killed her very obviously is the large burn on her chest, and I'd say with that 1 momentum that you're going to give me, you can tell that's a phaser blast, and it's a phaser blast at pretty close range.
Okay. Do I see the Mark III anywhere?
The Mark III is missing.
Okay, I will comms the commander and let them know that the Mark III's been stolen, Dr. Star's dead, and the place is a mess.
Hold on 1 second, and you hear you hear some thudding in the background. Sorry, little preoccupied. As morbid as it is, find the puck and then go on a search for that suit.
So, Bart, to answer your question, Dr. Solar was killed by a phaser. The Suliban that you are seeing here have been shooting at you with disruptors.
Thanks. That's what... There's a clarification there that now Brat is thinking about very, very much.
And in fact, it's relevant that it's a disruptor because this Suliban behind the bench leans over the bench and takes a shot at you with said disruptor.
And I get hit.
Yeah, he hits you, and that's
I count 6 total.
Yep.
Yeah.
6 damage.
With the resistance of the suit taking it down to 5, it's still an injury.
It's non-lethal. So you have a few options with a non-lethal injury. You can give me some momentum to just avoid it immediately. You could spend your determination to ignore the effects, but you still have it. Or you could just fall over. Your choice.
I will say, just remember that if you do spend to avoid the injury, if you take another injury and it's lethal, yeah, I can't save you.
I'll spend to avoid it.
Okay. Are you using determination or the 2 momentum we have?
I don't know that I have a value that I can call to avoid it.
All right, let's
You
use
don't have to. I don't think
Okay.
you have to, but I would recommend not using the determination for what it's worth, because when you use the determination, you ignore the injury, but you still have it. If you use the momentum, or you can also give me threat to ignore it, by the way, but or avoid it. If you avoid the injury, it's gone. Determination, it's still there. So determination to avoid it can kind of be a trap sometimes.
Sure, we'll do the momentum spend.
All right.
And then that Suliban ducks back behind his bench. And it is the player's turn.
Yep. Natral will look at Brat and say, hold your breath. And she'll walk into the center of the room, and I'm basically going to say out loud, hey, use potent pheromones to be like, look, stop. Basically. Like, hey, we don't mean you any harm kind of thing. Hey,
You can still try to convince him, but if you want to try the pheromones, you have to be in close range.
Okay.
So you're going to have to come up the stairs and get all up in his face.
I will do that. I will do that.
Let's, in this case, I think this is going to be a control presence. This is going to be really hard because they're already fighting you. I think this is going to be a difficult... Yeah, sorry. Yes, command presence, not control presence. Command presence. The difficulty here is going to be a 5.
Okay. That's fine. Oh, well. No focus. And we don't have the momentum, so you get 6 threat. 2. None of them.
Ooh.
Oh, well. It's worth trying.
That's a 19. Is it a complication?
It is for me when I use pheromones.
Yeah.
Rolled 2 18s and a 19. Wow.
Yeah.
So would you like me to keep that complication, or did you want to...
Threat.
Threat it? Okay.
I get shot at. It's fine.
All right, so going back to the enemies, the Suliban that fell down onto the ground that's in front of you is Anastasia. He's actually going to miss this turn because, like I said, he landed very, very poorly. So that's actually going to reset. We're going to go to the next round here.
Which is especially ironic because apparently I failed to grapple him. So I'm just doing all sorts of great today.
All right, but I think that goes back to the players.
All right, let's do this because I do want to make sure we don't lose this guy. I want to try grabbing him again, unless anyone would prefer to act before me.
I would just communicate that, sir, Mornock said phaser, not disruptor.
Yes, I'm aware that Mr. Saturday might be the variable here that is not great. I'm hoping one of these idiots will confirm it. Yes, I mean you. And then I try to grapple the Suliban again. And yeah, I'm again going to activate the augmented ability. I do have 2 dice. I have hand-to-hand combat as a focus. What is my difficulty to beat, I guess is the question.
I'm going to buy 2 more dice.
Okay. All right, let's see.
Roll 1 extra.
Okay. All right. Let's hope the dice are on my side.
So I've got 2 successes and a complication.
And I have 3 successes and no complications, so we actually get a momentum from that.
And I'll say the complication for him as you grapple him, his disruptor goes flying across the room.
Very good. And I would like to sort of knock him out, so I don't know if you want me to roll unarmed damage or not.
I will need you to roll unarmed damage.
Okay.
These guys are pretty tough.
How does he feel about 4?
Doesn't do much to him, actually. It seems as though he is both tough and his armor is giving him some protection against this sort of thing.
All right, I think that's understandable. But well, let me say this though, because I think it actually matters. And I'll look it up myself. So grapple means I don't do any damage, or do I still do damage? I honestly forget.
I think you don't do damage, but he can't do anything but try to break the grapple.
Okay, in that case, let's ignore the damage I just rolled and say that I've got him in a grapple.
Okay. Yeah, you've got him in a tender chokehold. We'll say that.
Okay.
Would you guys like to keep the initiative, or is it going to go back to them?
Well, Brat, do you think you've got a shot on this Suliban here?
He's behind cover. I doubt I'd be able to make it without running up the stairs.
I can do it.
It's not great cover, Brat, but I'd say
Yeah.
Natral, from where you are, he's not in cover at all. He's just behind the bench. You would have a clear shot at him.
Let me ask this: which one of you feels the most confident?
I mean, I have him dead to rights.
Okay. Yeah. Let's spend the 1 momentum and 1 threat to let you fire.
Focus and hand phasers. Yeah, stun. Yep. Third dice. Of them.
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah, I'd say. Well, how about this, Natral? As you're taking a shot at him, he does a sort of super creepy Suliban thing, and he flattens himself under the bench, and you miss that way. So you maybe would have hit him if he hadn't been a crazy Suliban who could flatten his body. But yeah, that is a miss. So then I think we're going to go to the players. I'm going to say that Anastasia, your buddy, he's going to try to break free.
All right. I think I roll something, but I still haven't found the relevant passage of what I actually roll.
I think it's the same. I'll have to look it up myself. Why don't we just do an opposing check again?
Sure.
Seems like the way to go. I'm buying 2 extra dice.
Oh, here, I got the page open. Here we go. So, this places a grappled complication on the target, which will prevent them from taking any action other than trying to break free. Difficulty 2, fitness and security. The only other option they may take is attacking the grappling character, which increases in difficulty by 1. The grappling character gains 1 bonus momentum on all melee attacks against the grappled character, and the complication is removed automatically when the grappling character chooses or when they move out of reach. Okay. So is he trying to break free, or is he trying to attack me?
Let's do it this way. You would get a momentum from what you did last time, so give yourself a momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And then he is trying to attack you. So if you can do me an opposing check, he's already got he's already got 4 successes.
Okay. So because I gain 1 bonus momentum from him attacking me, and I'm going to still keep augmented ability, that means I'm already at 2 successes. So let's see what happens here. Well, apparently the dice are just not in our favor today. And yeah, he hits me.
What about that complication? Would you like to keep that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the complication here.
Okay, so I will say, as he breaks free, he also kind of gives you an elbow to the face, and your phaser 2, goes also spiraling off into the darkness.
Okay.
And he is free now. Did that passage say that you take the damage, or does he just break free?
Unless you are specifically attacking me, then it... So if he's trying to break free, it's a fitness security at difficulty 2. If he's attacking me, then his difficulty increases by 1, which I still don't think I have enough to beat him.
Yeah, I think you were at 3, and I think he was going down to 3, which I think puts it in his favor because he's...
Yeah, he still has it.
So, okay, this does take up another... There's a few other things that happen. So he does hit you for 3 damage, and he did get an effect, so he does knock you down.
Okay.
So you took 3 damage, he knocked you down, and you lost your phaser.
Okay.
But it's back to you guys.
Brat, please save us from ourselves.
Brat is running up the stairs and is going to try to take the guy who just broke free.
All right. Are you going to shoot him, or are you going to try to also melee him?
What role is for melee?
Daring security.
Yeah, my shooting ability is much better.
Just remember, though, if you do roll a complication shooting at this range with Anastase and the Suliban so close, you could potentially hit her.
Noted.
But that's a control security difficulty 2, please.
Anybody mind I spend the momentum that we have for a third die?
Take it.
That's a hit.
That I like.
Yeah, I will say with that shot, you hit him point blank in the chest, and that is strong enough to put him down, and he does not get up.
One down, sir.
Excellent job. Let's handle this other one. And real quick, Josh, I actually had forgotten I have veteran. Is it too late for me to roll a challenge die to see if I get my determination back?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I do not.
So I believe it's going back to the Suliban.
Yeah.
So Vitral, your Suliban buddy, he slinks out from underneath the bench and he cloaks, becomes invisible.
Oh, that's cute. He's gone. Damn.
I will allow you guys to take one action. And if you don't find him, then that will be the end of this combat.
I'm going to use my eyes to find him, unless somebody with a higher science wants to scan.
I'm actually just going to order you from the ground. Put your phaser on area and fire at the area in front of you.
All right. She does that minor action to aim, I guess.
Well, no, you would have to use your minor to charge, so you could do the area effect. But you could spend a threat to do the aim action.
Yeah, why not? And then a threat for a third dice. Hand phasers. Oh, come on.
So cloaked, he's gonna increase the difficulty by 2, so your difficulty to hit him would be 4.
Oh, well then it may have already rolled, but yeah, it doesn't seem to. 2 more die, 2 more threat for 4th dice, and oh god, something happens. Yes!
Nice.
Wow. You got a momentum out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes catch him.
Yeah, if you can roll some damage for me, please.
Yep. Video.
And your shot does reveal like a wicked spider monkey. He's been crawling up the side of the wall towards the ceiling.
That's the wrong amount of dice. It should. Oh wait, no, it's not. The 2. I want to drop this fool.
Yeah, if you spend a momentum, you could re-roll those zeros.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to... well, okay. So what I'm going to float as something we could do if this doesn't take him down... well, let's find that out first. Does it take him down?
7. Yeah, that does take him down.
Okay.
All right, so Netral, you scan the area and you take a wide blast with your phaser. Like I said, he was climbing up the wall. You hit him hard enough, he falls like a sack to the ground. And with a splat, he lands very hard. And that ends the encounter.
All right. So as I pick myself up, I say, Mr. Brott, interrogate that one or this one. Interrogate one of them. I don't care which. Mr. Mornock, have you found anything on your end yet?
Have I?
Well, I'd say in this point, unless you want to do a roll for anything specific, Mornock, you found a room full of dead scientists. You did find the phaser blast, like before. The lab has been ransacked, trashed, and set on fire.
I will
Those
try
are
and
the
find
highlights.
the puck we're looking for, and if there's a working console, I'd like to try and use internal sensors to locate the Mark III.
Yeah, so the puck was just laying on the console. Really no sort of attempt to try to hide it whatsoever. If you'd like to try to use sensors to scan the station, let's see. You guys did bypass before to get station. I'll say you bypassed security already. So Brat's assist on the roll that Charles did already. So let's do a sensor science scan. I'm going to make it a little more difficult. Let's say difficulty 2, and I'm going to up it to a 3. Difficulty 3. Let's do the complication range as an 18, 19, and 20.
So 3.
Correct.
Yeah. Just want to check something quickly. What's that do? Okay. I'm going to give you threat for 1 extra dice, if that's okay with everyone.
Sure, go for it. I think this is kind of important.
And my sensor operation focus apply, does it?
Yep.
Okay, here goes.
I think that's just not enough. You can't locate the suit, unfortunately, in your sensor scan. It could also be potentially because you notice that you're getting a lot of interference still from Monument.
Something that just occurred to me, and I want to make sure I have this right. So, for us on the shuttle, it was like 10 minutes. For the rest of the galaxy, it was 5 hours. Do I have that right?
Correct.
Okay. Then what I want to do is try to get a hold of Chuckles, as Natral has said. Are we able to get a hold of him?
So what he did when he beamed you back maybe an hour after you left. Mm-hmm. So as far as time is concerned, he's still, if you guys went back to an hour after you left, he's still in transit with you guys to that beam out point where we'll send you back here. So you can get a hold of him, but that will be the point like where he is still traveling to drop you guys off.
Okay, this is, again, where time becomes wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. But I do want to contact him text only so that our past selves do not hear this. And I want to say, Mr. Chuckles, this is Commander Anastase. We've encountered a temporal anomaly. Is it possible for you to transport those of us that are on the station currently, or our past selves, approximately 5 minutes after we originally left the station?
And there's a bit of a delay for that. And there's a bit more of a delay for that.
Yep.
I mean, if it helps, I will spend I will spend 2 threat to make the advantage that the message did get to him.
Oh, no, I'm just trying to take into account the distance and time that it's happened.
Ah, fair.
Dang.
And then you get a response back and he goes, oh, hey. Oh, that's funny. What's going on, Commander?
I don't have time to explain. Can you do it, Mr. Chuckles?
Well, the problem here is, Commander, is my temporal transporter, it's only one way, and to be honest, I just used up all of my power beaming you guys back. I'm turning around now, but by the time I get there, you guys will have probably have this resolved. It'll be just a few minutes for me, but a few hours for you.
I was afraid of that. All right. Then after I've picked myself up and I say to everybody so that Mornock and the rest of the team can hear it, let's get a scan. We want to try and locate Mr. Saturday. I believe that he and his team might be part of the process behind this. In the meantime, Mr. Mornock, if you could rejoin us, I would feel a lot more secure with you with us than you off on your own.
Okay. I assume I can walk out the door normally rather than going through the vents.
Yeah, you can do that. You can just walk out.
Yeah, I'll head out. I'll change back into my bend-type form and head to meet up to the group.
And Mr. Mornock, as you are walking down the corridor, let me throw your token in here. It's a little creepy because the station should probably have some more people, but it seems to be pretty abandoned. You notice this bright, glowy thing in the corner.
Oh, shiny. I'm going to scan it with my tricorder.
So first, so let's do this a little differently. Let's actually do the scientific method here and see if you can figure out what this is. So the way this is going to work, since you're the only one here, you won't have an assistant. So I'm assuming you're going to use your science discipline to figure out what this problem is. Is that correct? Okay, so what I need you to do is give me 3 focuses. Doesn't have to be focuses that you have, but 3 focuses you think might be related to this thing. And we will go from there.
I'm going to say temporal dynamics. Temporal dynamics. Weapon systems. And
Maybe spatial anomalies would be another good one.
yeah, spatial anomalies.
Okay. Okay, so the next step is tell me which one of those you would like to actively pursue. I can tell you right away that they are not all 3 incorrect.
Eeny, meeny, miny. I'm gonna go with the spatial anomaly.
Okay. All right, so if you can roll, let's do, probably the first part will be your science reason. You can roll some dice for me there. In this case, with a scientific method check, I don't tell you the difficulty. I keep a record of that, and then I track your progress. So there's not a lot I'm going to tell you until you beat the difficulty, or if you beat the difficulty, and you can try to make rolls as long as you'd like to try to achieve this, or you could give up, or take whatever next step you'd like. You can also switch back to a different focus if you spend some time on this and you decide that this may not be what you think is correct.
Okay. Don't think any of my focuses really apply, so let's just give it a roll.
Okay. So I will say that your examination here takes maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah. I will the commander and let him know there's an anomaly in this location. Maybe they should come and meet up with me here.
We'll head that way very shortly.
Okay, and I will continue to investigate it.
Still checking spatial anomalies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's do science reason again.
That should be 2 there. That's a 3. I don't have a focus that applies, I don't think.
Let me take a look at your focuses again. Yeah, don't think so here.
That's 3 successes so far.
Okay,
overall.
I'd say another few minutes go by. So you could try again, or you could take one of the other directions, or optionally give up on the whole thing if you'd like.
I'm going to try scan for temporal distortions or temporal anomalies.
Okay. I will say for that, that's going to be a science daring.
Okay. I'll re-roll that then.
All right, so here's actually what you figured out. This looks like a quantum rift formed by a massive explosion in a quantum drive.
Oh, lovely. I will report that to the commander.
I'm sorry. You said an explosion in a quantum drive?
Yes, sir. We have a
Oh.
quantum rift here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Natral, but isn't this station powered by a quantum drive?
A rather large one, Commander.
What I'm hearing is we need to get out of here.
We either need to get out of here or we need to head to that core and stabilize it. Natral, get back on that console, see what you can learn.
Yes, sir. And she does that.
So, Mornock, what I will tell you is the information you've uncovered about this as you're spending some more time on it. So, a few things. The quantum signature here on this is consistent with this quantum reality, because you can actually have quantum signatures that are different based on, like, traveling through different dimensions. So this is a small, tiny, this is a tiny rift in your universe, not somebody else's. There is a residual energy signature that could point to a specific quantum drive, but you don't recognize it. This doesn't match up with something you've encountered before. And I can tell you the last bit of information, but I think it's so special I would need to give me a momentum or a threat. I think it encounter require a little bit more of your focus.
I say give him the threat.
I was going to say that. Give him the threat. Have your threat.
All right. Last bit of information that you can tell running it through the systems of the suit is it looks like through quantum dating, it puts the explosion that created this thing as having occurred sometime around 2391.
Oh, joy. I will take all this information and rendezvous with the team.
Okay.
By this point, as Mornock is joining us, would Broad have time to, kind of smack a Suliban around, maybe get some answers?
Sure.
Yay, I get to do it. Well, and I have telepathy. I'm a telepath, so I could probably get some more answers than he's not sharing verbally.
Oh, that's fun. What we could do is, you could do a roll. Just tell me how you want to counter this. Do you want to talk to him nicely? You could use your telepathy. You also have an Orion who has the ability to influence people as well. I would say doing the influence is probably nicer. Doing the telepathy is probably going to be more invasive and unfriendly. But any of those avenues could get you answers if you are so inclined.
We'll go the nice route first, and if we don't get the answers that we want, we can go a little harsher.
So first, ask me a question, and I'll set the difficulty, and we'll treat it like a sensor roll, where if you do a lot better than that, you could ask additional questions using momentum.
All right. How does everybody feel about the question of who caused the station to blow up?
I think the better question might be, who are you working for?
I was thinking about that, but it could also be they don't know necessarily.
This is also true.
Or what were you after? Well, they're after the...
maybe ask if they're in league with Saturday.
Let's go with that one.
trying to think. Okay, I think in this case it would be a difficulty 4, but I'm gonna make it a difficulty 5. And tell me how you're gonna do this. Are you gonna ask him friendly, or are you gonna kind of rough him up a little bit? So like shaking him around, throwing him around, a few punches and all that, or are you just gonna kind of casually, conversationally ask him this question?
Let's get a little persuasion with the pheromones in.
Oh, so you want me to? Okay.
A little assistance.
Okay, we could do good cop, bad cop, and Natral could, I guess, who would like to take the lead on good cop, bad cop? Like, Natral will be the person doing the dice if it's good cop, or Brat, you could be the lead, and Natral assists if it's bad cop.
We'll do good cop first, since that's what he was trying first.
Natral, let's do a command presence and difficulty 5, like I said, but you get that D20 for using your pheromones here.
Yeah. And then I will spend enough threat to get 4 dice. Not. Let's make this roll.
What will I roll as bad cop?
Let's do your assist as security daring.
So I have 5 already.
Could I make the argument for security presence?
Yeah, I like that. Sure.
I forgot to roll the 5th dice.
Could my infiltration focus apply?
I don't think so in this case. To me, infiltration would be something when a person doesn't know you're around. He fairly clearly knows what you are and your intentions.
All right. Well, there's 6 successes.
6 successes. So, like I said, you'll get your answer, and if you'd like to ask him another question using that extra momentum, you're free to do that. And your question was, sorry, I forgot already. Was Saturday involved?
Yes.
Yes.
The Starfleet man you know as Saturday, yes. He has been assisting us with the infiltration of this station.
Yay. Compromise top secret information.
And she looks at him. And second question, anybody?
Second question, I think, is when did he go?
Yes. Okay.
Where and when, if you consider that one question.
Yes. Where do you happen to know where he was supposed to strap to?
The last I saw him, he was still on this station.
That doesn't answer the question.
You take it from here. She goes back to the console and starts using internal scanners.
Question, do the Suliban have some sort of communicator on them?
They do indeed.
I'd like to rip it off of them, bring it up to my helmet, and, kind of an open broadcast, and say, Mr. Saturday, if you're hearing this, know that not only will we be finding you, we will make sure that you receive full justice for the crimes you have committed today. I understand that you're operating for someone unknown and that you have your own reasoning, but I will make this offer once and only once. If you come quietly now, we will go easy on you. If not, as I said, we will hunt you. We will find you, no matter where or when you go, and justice will be delivered.
So why don't you give me a command presence roll? And it would be a difficulty of 3, but I'm gonna make it a 5 with all this extra threat I've got.
Okay. Would you say persuasion is a focus?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't want to challenge the value, but I did want to offer maybe the complication. A temporal agent must be flexible and open-minded. Would you say that me specifically narrowing in on Mr. Saturday isn't necessarily within line that value?
I will say that. Yeah, okay. You could use your determination here. I will make a complication, and I will say I think your value here will work because... Yeah, I think your value here will work, and I will create a complication from it.
Okay, that's fair. Then I'm going to use that determination for 2 free successes to start off with. And then I am going to give you 3 threat so that I am rolling... Oh, no. I'm going to give you 5 threat so that I am rolling 4 dice. All right, let's see what happens. Well, that is a grand total of 6 successes.
I believe you get 1 momentum.
And with the 2 momentum we have, I'm going to buy off that complication.
Okay. You don't get a reply, though.
Nitral, is he on the station still?
You know, I'll say with that roll, Nitral, while Anastasia was talking, you have managed to locate in the command center pretty much the only life sign that's left in the station. If you take out you guys, there is a humanoid life sign in the command center of the station.
Well, he's here, Commander. He's an ops.
Then to ops we go. Please, if you can, erect temporal shielding around that area. We don't want him beaming out or escaping.
Yes, sir. And I do that. I lock him in a force field if I have to.
I will say, Nitral, you could do the force field. I think the temporal shield is going to be outside the capabilities of the station. I think the force field we could certainly give a shot. I'm going to look at that reference for force field because I don't think we've ever done that before.
I will look at the commander, and you might want to double time it.
I'm already running. I'm like already running.
Yeah. And then she just kind of looks back at the console and goes, and I'm talking to myself.
Yeah, because I am right behind the commander.
So who's heading to ops then? Is it just Brat and Anastasia? What about you, Mornock?
I think I would have told him to come with us, or at least meet us there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go follow along.
Okay, so Nitral, let's I couldn't find the reference for this, so I'm just gonna wing this. Let's say to do the force field, let's do a probably security daring.
Okay.
In this case, I'm gonna throw you some threat. I think the difficulty would normally be a 3. I'm gonna make it a 5.
Okay. Okay. Back down. Yeah, nothing. I'm rolling 5 dice, so more threat. Computers as a focus.
Yes. So you want to give me 6 threat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Son of a... I had to re-roll those, so I got 3 successes.
Oh, you have bold engineering, right? Not bold security. Yep. So, Nitral, I will give you this: that you attempt to raise the force field, and the reason this is more difficult is, one, because of the black hole, And this guy or whomever, whatever's going on in that control room, he has done something, or a person has done something, so it is exceedingly difficult to get in controls to the security system.
That's fine. Upon not being able to do the force field, she just decides to cut all computer contact with ops.
Okay.
Engineering, I would assume.
Let's resolve these guys running to operations first, because I think your first task would have taken you a little bit of time, and they probably would have gotten there before your second task. But I'll remember that's the next step that you want to do. So the group that's heading to the operations center, tell me how you guys are announcing yourself here. Are you going to sneak in, or are you just kicking down the door?
I will literally kick down the door.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also going to let them know that the force field failed. Well, never mind. They won't know. Anyway, moving on.
Let me throw everybody in. So the way you guys probably would have come into this room is down here, in fact. Okay, bear with me a sec. I'm going to make sure that your tokens have names. There we go. Now we all have names. So as you walk into the command center, there's a nice open window of the black hole. It's a very impressive display. What your attention is probably immediately drawn to is Chief Saturday. He's standing behind the main console, the center area of this location. And he's talking to someone. You don't know who it is, but they are a Vorgon. So the Vorgons in the Temporal Cold War are sort of, for lack of a better term, they're sort of junk dealers. They like to buy future technology or acquire future technology for themselves to use for their own ends. And it appears these two were having a conversation. As you have barged in, the conversation stops, and Chief Saturday just kind of looks up at you as you walk in.
I don't know if I'm going to need to spend threat to do this because we don't have any momentum, but I don't want to give him a chance to get off so much as a word. I literally want to run up and flying tackle him.
I mean, I was thinking using my telepathy and another talent that could, like, kind of freeze him in a way.
Yeah. What do you got?
I have telepath and listener, which is kind of I'm keeping as a hidden talent.
I was going to say, I'm not familiar with it. So what does the listener do exactly?
Yeah, it is another species talent. Again, well, as far as, well, you would know as anesthesia, but as everybody else doesn't know my other heritage. But you know the how to use subtly of your telepathic empathetic skills to discern not only what is being said, but also what is being unsaid. This allows you to tell someone exactly what they need to hear. When you attempt a task to advise or convince someone into taking or refraining from a specific course of action, you may add an additional d20.
I like your idea better, so let's go with your thing.
But this sounds like the description of that means you actually you have to be talking to him in a convincing way. So tell me what you're trying to go for here, and we'll figure out a difficulty from that.
Being telepath, you can't turn it off. I'm thinking as soon as I'm in the room, I can kind of get into his head, and I'm a trained telepath. I also have the value of years of experience. So I can, as soon as I can focus in and kind of basically freeze him. And convince him to just kind of freeze.
Okay. That's going to be... I'm going to make that a pretty high difficulty, because I think this is going to be difficult to pull off for Saturday. I will say the difficulty here... let's see, it would normally be a 4. Got 15 threat there, guys.
Oh, God.
I'm going to make that a 7.
This is why you don't give the GM 6 threat every roll.
Yes. So, Lister gives me a bonus d20, so there's 3. I'm going to burn my determination for years of experience. So there's 2 automatic successes. I'm already rolling 3 dice.
And to make this a little more intense, make your complication range a 3.
All right.
Which will become apparent if you roll a complication. I'll tell you why.
Oh, it'll come back to bite me. We don't have any momentum. I'm going to give you... How many threat would that be? Because I have a bonus d20. But the bonus d20s don't count towards...
I think you have to spend 3, yeah.
Yeah, 3.
But let me ask real quick, because I don't have it handy. Remind me, Josh, what does the team leader role give me?
You can give him a determination.
Okay.
Well, you can give him your determination if you have it.
If I had it, keyword there. Let me say this then. Given that I did succeed on my earlier roll for persuasion, could we say that maybe reduces the difficulty or maybe allows my sheer presence to assist him?
I'll allow that. Yeah.
Sure.
Why don't you do a let's do command daring here.
Command daring
as an assist.
All right. And I am going to pop augmented ability again. So we already get 1 free success here.
Plus my 2 automatic successes. So we're already at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Would infiltration count as a focus?
Sorry, I don't think so.
Would counseling count as a focus?
What's the counseling you're putting towards him? I think you're actually making him like stop moving, like you're trying to take over his mind in a way. How is counseling here going to apply?
From years of experience in a past life, I was a counselor, therefore I know how kind of the mind works, especially for humans.
Okay, I'll allow that. You sold it.
So I'm gonna roll. Yeah, give you however much threat to be able to roll. That.
So you use determination, right? So I think you got to give me 5.
Well,
5 threat if you want 5
I have
dice.
the bonus. I have the bonus d20, and I used my determination. So the determination roll counts as a.
Oh,
dice.
it's just 3 then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's just 3 threat.
Also, I'm apparently disconnected from Roll20. I don't know if anybody else is.
I just got the alert.
Yeah, I
If you
should refresh.
Yeah, if you refresh, you'll come back.
Although my roll came in, I have 4 successes plus my determination, so there's 6.
And we have the 1 from me already, so as soon as I'm back in, I'll roll my daring command. Alright, there we go. And Anastase. Come on, Firefox, you can do it. Oh, no, come on. There you go. Alright.
So I believe that is 9 successes.
Yeah, I count 9. So 2
you guys
momentum.
get 2 momentum. So let's see what happens.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Brat, have you ever encountered, I honestly forget the species that this guy is, the other species. The Toxutot species, the one Saturday's talking to.
This is Vorgon.
Vorgon, thank you. Have you encountered Vorgon before?
In a past life, I was a merchant. Therefore, I probably have.
Okay. I want to float this to you, Josh. Could he spend the 2 momentum we just got to create the advantage that this also affects the Vorgon?
You can. I'm going to spend 2 threat here to create a complication on you, Brat. This telepathic contact you have with Saturday is intense. You can't really do much else more than focus on this guy. You can try to move it onto the Vorgon. I will make you do a challenge dice roll, though, because if you try to do that, you might actually lose the hold on Saturday entirely.
Yeah, so it's up to you whether or not we even spend the 2 momentum on that advantage then, Brat. It's your call.
For the challenge... Oops, what?
I was going to say, I'm going to turn into liquid and then go up and tangle myself round the Vorgon.
That works.
Okay.
Restrain him physically.
Mornock, you're moving here. As you go to do that, your liquid tendrils go towards him, and you pass right through him because he's a hologram, and the hologram disappears.
Okay.
Well,
In which case, I will go and tie up Chief Saturday.
So I think at this point, let's go into a structured combat. And I think, Brat, you've managed to pull this off. What I'm going to make you do as at the start of each player's turn, I'm going to make you do a challenge dice roll. If you get an effect, he's going to break through it. I know that's a little harsh, but this guy, he's a lot more different. He's a lot more different than you've encountered before. And you've just kind of got him frozen. Like you guys are locked together. And actually, as this is happening, a bead of sweat is kind of rolling down your temple. Yeah, this is... You've managed to pull this off, but he's a lot more trained, like you said, than you're used to.
Yeah, I am putting all of my focus into him.
And I think around this time, Natral, I told you we were going to come back to you.
Yep.
So remind me that task. Were you going to head up to see these guys, or were you going to do something else?
I am basically cutting computer control from ops.
Okay.
There's no temporal transporters, nothing. Okay. Only thing they'll be on is life support and lights.
Cool. To me, that sounds like an engineer daring.
Yep.
Engineering daring. I think this is probably pretty easy for you. Let's do maybe difficulty 3. But let's do the complication range of 3 also.
Okay. Then I will give you a threat and spend the 2 momentum. Yeah.
Okay.
Better. Golly.
So, how much momentum do we get there?
I think that's 3.
Cool.
Yeah, and as you guys are standing here, the console that Chief Saturday is standing in front of, the lights just switch off.
And I hit my comm badge saying, as I start.
So, Natral, you told me that you were disabling all the computers. Is that correct?
Yes. Does that include our suits?
No, it does not include your suits, but let me throw you a complication here. There's just a moment that passes as you guys are sitting there and Brought, remember, and Saturday are locked eye to eye, and then the station starts to kind of tremor and shake.
You turned off the stabilizer.
Well, it's better than him getting away.
Until we fall into the event horizon.
Right, you know.
I can always start it back up when I'm sure he's in custody.
So, Brought, why don't you roll me a challenge dice, please?
Sir.
Okay, very good. You guys are still locked.
Mornock, would you like to go, or should I come up there?
Yeah, I'll go up and I will turn into an inanimate table and restrain him against the table.
Okay, we'll say without a roll that you have him grappled.
Okay.
All right, so Brought, if you can roll another challenge dice for me. Yep, Ed, he's just grappled.
All right, then.
He's still frozen.
As I'm moving up, then for my turn, I will tell Natral, turn the stabilizers back on. If this thing falls into the black hole, none of this will matter. And on the way, once I get up to the table, and this is something that, you know, you'll have to make a call on, Josh, but I would like to gather energy into the gloves in the palms of my hand. This is a Dorney thing. And I'd like to place it against his temple in an effect to use the energy discharge to knock him out.
Okay, I'll probably just make you do a roll.
Okay.
A damage roll, not an attack roll.
Okay.
And I would assume it's fairly easy for me to undo what I did.
Yeah, it is fairly easy. You reactivate the engines and the stabilizers. I'm going to throw out another complication. In that you've brought the stabilizers back on, Troy, you've brought the engines back online, but the station is still shaking a bit.
Shaking, but not going anywhere that she can tell.
You notice through observation that the black hole, the station is slightly drifting towards the black hole.
Right. She hits her she uses her comm badge and says, I may have bought us some time, but I don't think this station is gonna make it.
Great. Find us a way out of here, then.
Yes, ma'am. And she does that.
And yeah.
Right, Anastasia, if you can roll a challenge dice for me.
All right, how much am I
challenge dice
rolling?
for damage.
Would this be a normal unarmed attack or no?
Why don't we do your unarmed attack, and why don't we do this? Every threat you give me can be an extra challenge dice.
I will give you 3 threat. So that brings me to 7 challenge die.
Alrighty.
And
This is non-lethal, right? You're not trying to kill him.
oh yeah, I'm just trying to knock him out. All right, let's roll this first, and then I'll spend the 5 momentum as needed. I'm going to spend, because I don't know his resistance, I'm going to spend 3 momentum to get rid of 6 resistance.
Okay. So I believe that's 8 damage to him, correct?
Mm-hmm. Which, if he's got more than 6 resistance, my god.
Well, he was armored, so...
I'm going to spend 2 threat. He's still, like, as this is happening, his hand kind of inches forward, like Anastasia, you hit him like really hard with this burst. He doesn't go unconscious, and his hand, like his right hand, starts kind of balling into a fist. And Mornock, you actually feel like his body's starting to tense up a bit. And Mr. Brott, I'm going to give you a complication here. Let's roll 2 challenge dice.
Okay.
So let's resolve this, but I kind of want to spend the 2 momentum that we still have remaining to do a swift task to hit him again. But let's resolve the Brott thing first.
Yeah, Brott needs to roll a...
Okay.
And Brott, just like that, like a light switch, you know you've lost that connection with him. And Saturday kind of, that fist I said that he was making, he kind of begins to, he regains full control of his senses, and he fights back with you, Mornock. I'm going to say that at this point, since you rolled the effect, I'm going to give Saturday a unarmed attack against you, Morlock, to see if he can break free.
Alright, so Mornock, remember you already have 1 bonus momentum on this, so it's counting as 1 success.
And I think it said fitness security instead of security daring.
It's fitness security if you're breaking free. If you're just attacking, it's standard daring security.
I think he's just going to attack.
Okay.
And I'm going to buy an extra dice.
Well, that's an interesting Christmas tree color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So that is three. That is 3 successes, Mornock. I believe you need to roll an opposing check for me, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We do have 2 momentum.
I was gonna say I'm gonna take 1 momentum for an extra dice. Because my security rolls are shite. And here's hoping.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, Mornock. Let's see, how much is that? It's 6 damage to you because he has mean right hook, and somehow he knocks you down. I will say he breaks free of your liquid grappling that you're doing. It kind of shoves you backwards, and that's how you fall down. He does have a complication, though. I'm going to say the complication is his phaser rifle goes scattering across the rooms. It's going to be somewhere over here.
Okay. It is at this point that I do want to spend that momentum and that 1 threat to do a swift task, and I
was actually going to keep the initiative here.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I think it's swift task. Sorry. No.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's swift task, but it's not keep the initiative. So, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to attempt to quite literally put everything into a punch and try to knock him dead on the floor. Well, not dead, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
So that's gonna be daring security for me. I have a focus in hand-to-hand combat. I'm gonna still use augmented ability. So that's already 1 success. Take an additional threat so that I'm rolling 3 dice. And let's see what happens. Apparently nothing. Like, wow. Just really? Wow.
I think I'm going to buy 2 extra dice here with all this lovely momentum you guys have been giving me.
Well, I mean, as long as you get 2 successes, he actually hits me instead. Yeah, he hits me instead.
Yeah. He did get a complication, though. So we'll deal with that. So that's 3 successes. So that's 2 more that I needed. So that's 2 threat that I can use, which I'll just put that into extra damage since the damage was so sad here. We'll say that's 4 damage, and he knocks you down.
Okay.
And the complication, actually, I'll just buy off that complication. That's fine.
Oh, he should have, like, sprained his wrist on her helmet or something.
I mean, isn't the suit made out of, like, neutronium?
Mine? It is a neutronium composite, but it's not something that I've, like, actually statted out or anything.
So he's pushed you, Mornock, and Anastasia away. And because he's my bad guy, he's got to have a bad guy moment.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of does the thing where he turns his head and he pops his neck and he's like, I thought you guys would have been a little tougher than this.
Yeah, I'm going to jump up and shoot him.
All right. Let's see if I was about there. Is that about right?
Sure. I was thinking like literally jump the thing up and just fire. But
okay.
Scaling the stairs works well too.
Okay.
I forgot to roll for veteran, so let.
Yeah, go ahead.
Unfortunately, not.
No.
He is behind this computer console thing, only because Mornock sort of attached him to it. So I'm going to give him 1 challenge dice of cover.
That's fair.
But otherwise, it's just a difficulty of 2.
Yeah, I'm going to give you 3 threat so I can roll 2 additional die. Control security, hand phasers focus. Oh, for crying out loud.
I mean, it does give us some momentum.
That's 19 out of 20. I still had my complication range up from my previous task.
So you got a momentum.
And I would say use momentum and 2 threat to burn another 6 resistance.
Yes. Momentum and 2 threat for 6 resistance. Let's knock him on his butt.
Okay, so that's 8 damage.
Which, even if he has a fitness security of 16, that should be enough to fill his stress track as well.
It does. But I just spent 4 threat, and miraculously he is still on his feet.
So gonna float this. Can I give you 4 threat and make a heroic entrance and shoot him in the back?
No, you're finding a way out of here, and stop giving him threat.
That's fair.
So I will say in a trial week, what we can resolve for you is, as you're standing back on that entry point you guys came into the station, as you've noticed out through the large windows by you that the black hole's getting larger. At least from this window, the viewpoint.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's trying to figure out a way out. Unless it was me that was doing it. Are there temporal teleporters on this station?
There are not temporal teleporters. There are regular transporters.
Do I think I can... See, we left from... Basically, do I think I can get a lock from here to where we left?
I'm not sure what I follow you. So, I mean, just what you have access to is a regular transporter. So you can just move to a different room, that sort of thing.
Looking through Manifest, see if there's an extra shuttle on board.
There's not another shuttle on board, but I will say at this point, all of your comms, so you guys in the op center, you also hear this as well. You hear, hey guys, it's Chuckles. I'm getting ready to make my approach. I thought this was going to take me a little longer, but now all of a sudden the station is moving towards the black hole. Did you guys miss me so much that you were going to meet me halfway?
Chuckles, just dock, and we'll explain it.
Actually,
After
no.
we get out
Anastasia, upon hearing Chuckles and appearing Natral, says, Natral, beam us all to Chuckles' shuttle immediately.
Very well.
And that includes Mr. Saturday.
Okay.
And as you say this, Anastasia, you hear in the background Chuckles is saying, oh, you guys are using a transporter. Ooh, that's going to hurt.
Yep.
And Natral, I will let you make this roll. I do have... actually, no, I don't have enough threat for that. I'm just going to make the difficulty a... Let's see, this would probably be a normal difficulty of 4 because you're not transporting people on a transporter pad to a transporter pad. You are not in engineering. So I think that will be a difficulty of 4.
Right. Okay.
And it's control engineering.
Okay. Okay. This is where I have to give him threat.
Yeah, I was going to say, now is an appropriate time to give him threat.
How about 6?
I'd say maybe give him 3 instead of 6.
Okay.
Because technically, doesn't the station still assist in some capacity?
It hasn't been so far.
I don't think so at this point. The station is in a bad way.
All right.
How about this? I will say the assist from the station will now be countermanded because of the fact there's all this radiation from the black hole I didn't account for in the difficulty. So it cancels out any assistance you would have gotten from the station.
Fair.
Okay, so then original plan. Can I make an argument for a temporal mechanics focus because I am beaming around a black hole?
Sure. However, I'll postulate this to you. If you fail, temporal mechanics might also come into the failure.
Yeah.
We beam off, surprise, we go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. All right. Okay. We're
Well.
rolling that complication.
Let's do the complication range of 3.
Oh, well.
That's all right. You already rolled it. Let's keep what you got.
Well, it doesn't matter. None of them were in that range.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's 3 momentum, actually. Nice.
All right. So as you guys are standing there facing off with Saturday, you find yourselves back on the shuttle with Chuckles.
Saturday came too, right?
Yeah, I had to get a token.
Okay.
But you're now all nice and cozy in a cramped shuttle with Saturday.
I still have my phaser.
I was going to
right.
literally kick him in the stomach as hard as Dorney possibly.
I'll say as soon as you guys materialize, Chuckles turns and he's like, "Oh, hey, Chief Saturday! I didn't know we were picking you up. So what's going on, guys? The station looks like it's sparked
Later,
a black
get us
hole."
out of here.
So I think because Nitral, you did this without really Saturday knowing it was happening. I'll let the players take the first turn, but we are still in combat, just a different location.
All right, so Brat,
Yep.
do you think you can hit him, or should I go for the grapple?
I should be able to hit him, although it's going to be an increased difficulty being so close with phaser.
Okay, let me do because, law of averages, I have to get successes eventually. Let me do the hand-to-hand combat. I'm literally, as I said, going to kick him as hard as possible to knock the wind out of him and hopefully put him down. So that's daring security, augmented ability. I'm going to spend the 3 momentum so that I'm rolling 4 die. I have a focus. Now would be a very good time for law of averages to actually work in our favor.
They won't.
Well, I mean, that's still 3 successes, so he needs to roll 4 to not, get hit.
That roll. I think we covered that. So you rolled 5 dice. That means you must have given me 6 threat. Is that correct?
We had 3 momentum.
Oh, 3 momentum. Okay, so that means he only gave me 3 threat.
Mm-hmm.
One of those
I
is a
see 4
19.
dice.
One of those is a 20.
Yeah.
Okay. I only ask because I'm going to use some of that threat to buy an extra dice. Or extra 2 dice, in fact.
All right, well, he's got to get 4 successes here, otherwise I still hit him. Wow, and he does.
He does get 4.
He does.
But you were the attacker. You guys have tied. So I believe that still goes to you.
All right. All right, let's punch him good. Would you say that I can still give you threat for that special unarmed attack?
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
All right, then I'm going to give you another 3 threat, so then I'm rolling 7. And I will give you... 2 additional threat, so you get 5 total from this to bypass 4 resistance. Which, if my math... Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say with my math, I'm pretty sure that either he's down or he's like some dragon in disguise kind of a thing.
No, you do manage to take him down, but I'm going to spend some of that threat to create a complication. So what happens, Anastasia, as you hit him, he goes flying back into a console, and he collapses to the floor, thankfully. That console he just hit is a very important console.
Oh, dear.
And all of a sudden, Chuckle, at the front of the shuttle, Chuckle's like, oh, hey guys, what's going on? I just lost all of my impulse engines. I don't know what you guys are doing, but that's bad. That's real bad. So the power in the shuttle's kind of flickering off and on right now as the console where Saturday was is just like a mess.
Okay.
Yep.
The troll, fix it. Everybody else help me hold down Saturday. There's no way he's breaking out of 3 of us.
I will go liquid form again and turn into steel ropes to tie him up.
Barbed wire.
Okay, I'll say again, you have him grappled until he comes to and starts fighting back. But yeah, Netrol, you're looking at a broken shuttle propulsion. So, what would you like to do here?
Yep. I'm either going to bypass it, or, well, no, bypassing it's pretty much all I can do right now. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bypass that console altogether.
Why don't you give me a engineering daring? I'm gonna say, I got some threat here. I'm gonna make this a difficulty 4.
Okay. Okay. Take a threat for. No, take 3 threat.
Okay.
And what was the difficulty again?
4.
4.
4.
What'd
There you
you
go.
get? Very nice.
You managed to find an unused system. Actually, we'll say you bypass the energy from the temporal transporter because that's not really needed anymore. And the shuttle propulsion comes back online. Chuckles. He lets out a sigh. He stopped joking when this happened. Apparently, this was a real disaster that he was not expecting. But he managed to regain control of the shuttle, and you guys fly away from the black hole with your prisoner, Chief Saturday, in tow. And that is where we will stop for this week.
Whew. All right.
Bonus.
Real quick, this is where I'm going to end the stream. So those of you watching on Twitch, YouTube, etc., thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed session 1, and we will see these guys next week. Later, stream.
Thanks.